Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Amazonas Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for December 2019. Can't believe it's already been over a year since the last Amazonas deck profile update. I actually thought I'd done one quite recently. Was very shocked to find out that I haven't, but a lot of you have also been asking for an update to the Amazonas deck. It's a really fun deck. This deck is super meta in Duel Links, but super fun in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh TCG. I actually didn't realize that the last deck profile I did for this, Terraforming, was still at, I believe it was 3, so that just shows how long ago this video has been since the last update. But the whole point of it is to get out a bunch of different Amazonas decks, use the different Amazonas spell and traps with all the different monster effects we have at our arsenal to basically take care of all your opponent's monsters, and also use the different fusion summoning methods we have for the Amazonas as well to add in a new power boost to the deck that definitely does help with all of the cards we have. Definitely be interesting if we also get some new Amazonas support later down the line. I'd love to see what their take on the deck would be today with the current format. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monsters, one of our most important monsters in the deck is Amazonas Princess. This card's name becomes Amazonas Queen while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is normal or a special summon, you can add one Amazonas spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Amazonas Princess once per turn. And when this card declares an attack, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon one Amazonas monster from your deck in defense except Amazonas Princess. So being able to set up any of your other Amazonas monsters is very, very important, especially with some of the other more important ones in the deck that definitely help with protection against your opponent, or just ones that can help overall pressure wise later on, or just set up some of the other plays in the deck also. So Princess having that search effect and the special summon effect definitely does come in handy a lot with this deck and all of your plays. So 3 of this card is definitely needed for sure. I also run 3 Amazonas Spy. I use Spy just for the easy special summon you can do with this card. You can reveal one other Amazonas monster in your hand, special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Amazonas Spy once per turn. And when this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Amazonas monster in your graveyard except Amazonas Spy, return to the hand, or shuffle it into the deck. So it has add back consistency as well, but also being able to go for a good amount of your link plays in the deck, having this card be special summon and then go for another summon of a card out onto the field. If you need the link play, like I said, definitely does help just to have those 2 monsters easily brought out for this card. And or if you just want to play off of the Amazon monsters, you can destroy Spy and then add one of your other Amazonas monsters back to your hand that you can easily use, or ones that you can easily special summon out if you have cards like Amazonas Onslaught set on the field also. And I also run 3 Amazonas Queen. I had Queen at 2 the last deck profile, but I decided to bump it up to 3. It's just so easy to get out into the deck. You can even just special summon it with Princess and then have this monster on the field. That specifies Amazonas monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. That's its only effect, but it's one of your more stronger Amazonas monsters, but being able to protect them from battle means your opponent has to resort to other cards to take out your Amazonas monsters. And even if they take care of Queen, you have other ones in the deck or other ways to special summon back Amazonas Queen onto the field to always keep this card coming out and just being a real annoyance to your opponent with this play also. And just having it be one of the fusion requirements along with using Amazonas Princess to go into Amazonas Empress makes it all the easier as well. And I also run 3 Amazonas Swordswoman. If your opponent plays some pretty strong monsters, this card definitely is one of your best go-to cards. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from battles involving this card instead. So if they have a 3,000 attack point monster on the field and you have Amazonas Queen on the field that prevents your Amazonas from being destroyed by battle, you can just repeatedly swing into your opponent's monster and they'll take all the damage from your card right here, and it doesn't get destroyed by battle, so you're not minusing yourself a card either. And then just be able to do it again if they swap it to defense. It's the same story over and over again. So if they don't have a way to take out Amazonas Swordswoman by other means, they're going to be losing a lot of life points and potentially also losing the game as well. And for the last of the 3 ofs, I run 3 Amazonas Baby Tiger. I don't run the normal Amazonas Tiger. I just feel Baby Tiger adds a lot more to the deck and still counts as the name of Amazonas Tiger. Its name becomes Amazonas Tiger while on the field or in the graveyard. If an Amazonas monster is normal or special summoned to your field while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Amazonas Baby Tiger once per turn. It gains 1 heart attack for each Amazonas card in your graveyard, but resources is the main reason reason I have this card at 3 in the deck, just so you always have one available to special summon out, and also just so you have those resources to use every time you summon an Amazoness monster. Giving you the additional monster on the field is just one more plus card you can use for any of your plays. Plus, it's also the needed fusion card for Amazoness Pet Liger, needing Amazoness Tiger to make it, and one Amazoness monster. But I like it at 3 just because I can always see it in my hand, get that special summon. But you do have also Foolish Burial that we run in the deck to set it up in the graveyard for a more consistent way to special summon out, and consistently each turn also, since it is a once per turn. But still very, very useful. They always see this baby tiger come out on the field every time you summon an Amazoness monster. And I run 2 Amazoness Scouts. If Amazoness Queen protects them from battle, I use Scouts for the card effects during either player's turn. I contribute this card. If I do, during this turn, face up Amazoness monsters I control cannot be targeted by card effect monsters effects, and cannot be destroyed by the effects of spell, trap, or effect monsters. So, not being able to be destroyed by card effects or destroyed by battle. It's true on protection with this card on the field for that setup. That's why I like to run the 2. I only have the 2 though. It doesn't really add much more else. If you're not really worried about your opponent's destruction effects, then you just have a 500 attack point monster with 1100 defense. And like I said, you're just going to be using it if they bring out cards like Nightmare Cerberus or stuff like that to protect your Amazoness monster, since it is during either player's turn as well. And then just for the one-up, I like to run 1 Amazoness Sage. If you don't play against an opponent that runs pretty big back row, you can easily side this card out. If this card attacks, select 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls, destroy it at the end of damage step. So just giving you this card for the destruction power and the fact that you can attack with it, and it won't be destroyed by battle when Amazoness Queen is on the field. You may take a little damage from this card, but still having that destruction effect can help to take care of field spells, pesky field spells, back row, you name it. And just the one of though, you can easily special summon this card out with your Amazoness Princess. The same for Amazoness Scouts. The only reason I run 2 Scouts and only 1 Sage is you have to tribute this card, where you can always keep Sage on the field for its destruction plays. You don't have to tribute it like you have to do with Scouts. So if you need another Scout, at least you have Princess to bring out the second one. But once 1 Sage is out, you can get it back from the graveyard or some of the other plays also. And then for the only non-monster I run for the Amazoness, I run 1 Glow Up Bulb. They're all Earth monsters, so it's a very easy target for your Naturia Beasts. And if you wanted to run Ash Blossom, you can try taking out the 2 Scouts and the 2 Sage if you want to go more of a hand trap route with the deck. But if you want to go more pure and just stick to the Naturia Beast play, which definitely is fun and very, very useful, I run the 1 Glow Up Bulb for that spot. You can easily set up in the graveyard as well if you have Amazoness Princess. If it's in your hand, you can attack with Princess and use the Glow Up Bulb for the discard cost to special summon out one of your Amazoness monsters out onto the field, and then set up the Glow Up Bulb in the graveyard as well. But if you don't want to go for the Queen, you can go for one of the other level 4 plays, because then come main phase 2, you can send the top card of your deck, special summon the Glow Up Bulb, and then there's your play for the Naturia Beast, making Princess very, very useful for that as well. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Amazoness Call. This quick play spell, you take 1 Amazoness card from your deck, except Amazoness Call, either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Amazoness monster you control this turn. That monster can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. You can activate 1 Amazoness Call per turn. The main card I always go for the attack is Amazoness Swordswoman, since if my opponent has a big field of boss monsters out, Swordswoman can attack all those monsters and they'll take all the damage. Plus, having a search for probably the most important card in the deck is also very, very useful as well. So definite 3 of, and the fact that it's a quick play and also gives you the option to take 1 Amazoness and then either send it to the graveyard or add to your hand. You mostly always go for the add to hand, but having that graveyard option if you have some special summon cards on the field is very, very helpful as well. I run the 1 Amazoness Heirloom. I feel it's all you need. It's searchable with Princess, since Princess can be searched out with Amazoness Call. And since it's a once per turn, if you've already used Call to search out the Princess, having another target on the field in the form of Heirloom, very, very helpful there for sure. You equip it onto an Amazoness monster. Once per turn, that monster cannot be destroyed by battle. And after damage calculation, if the equipped monster attacks a monster, destroy the attack monster. So you can even have Amazoness Swordswoman take out some of your opponent's other pesky monsters as well with this card. I only run the one though. Like I said, it's really all you need after the search. Multiple copies becomes sort of a dead hand card since you just need the one set up on the field. And then for the field spell, I run 2 Amazoness Village. This one, all Amazoness monsters gain 200 attack, and once per turn, when an Amazoness monster is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Amazoness monster from your deck with level less than or equal to that Amazoness monster in the graveyard. So just having that option, if you have some of your other level 4 monsters on the field, when they're destroyed, you can get out Princess. Queen will protect them from battle, so that doesn't usually happen unless her effect is negated, but still having the different level Amazoness monsters, including Baby Tiger, going from 2 to 4 with Amazoness Village is why I really do love this card in the deck. I also run the 1 Fusion Recycling Plant, since we do run fusion options to recycle some of our fusion cards back to our hand that we used for our fusion monsters, and the 1 Terraforming, just so we can search out the proper field spell we need for that specific play at the time as well. And I also run 3 Polymerization with this one. It's just your fusion play card for all the different fusion options you have in the deck. I run 3 of this card just because it's very easy for us to get Baby Tiger out on the field and also have Princess as an option to go into as well in the deck for your cards. You have 4 of the different fusions that I'm running in the deck, so having these options to go into is very, very useful, but having 3 of it for the search is my biggest go-to reason for it. Plus you have the Fusion Recycling Plant to search it out as well by setting up also some Amazoness in your graveyard to use also. And for some of the one-ofs, I run the 1 Reinforcements of the Army and the 1 Foolish Burial. Reinforcements of the Army can search out a good majority of the Amazoness monsters aside from Queen and Baby Tiger. And Foolish Burial, well, it's not when it's not setting up the Glow Bulb in the graveyard to use from your deck. You can even set up your Baby Tiger in the graveyard to special summon back onto the field as well. So it has more than one use in the deck, which is why I like a lot with this deck. When you don't have to rely just on the Glow Bulb, you have the Baby Tiger option as well. And I also run 3 Call by the Graves. Princess's special summon effect is very, very important, so hand traps definitely do kill that play, or just being able to special summon a good amount of cards if your opponent tries to take them out. 3 Call by the Grave definitely does help there. And then moving on to the traps. For the searches with Amazoness Princess, my most searched out card, probably the most broken card in the deck for all your plays, is Amazoness Onslaught. Once per turn, during battle phase, you can special summon 1 Amazoness monster from your hand. If you do, it gains 500 attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. And after damage calculation, if your Amazoness monster battled an opponent's monster while this card is already face up in your spell and trap card zone, you can banish that opponent's monster. And if this card on the field is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Amazoness monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it takes care of all your opponent's cards by banishing them. A lot of cards that resolve in the graveyard are just completely overwhelmed by this deck. Being able to attack multiple times with cards like Amazon's Call, being able to give your opponent damage from the cards that attack on your side of the field, and also being able to protect them by battle. And then banishing all those monsters gets rid of their resources, and then just being able to special summon out some of the more bigger boss monsters out of the field also with this card makes it a definite 3 of. The fact that it's searchable, and also if you're a fan of Duel Links, is the reason why this card is at 1 in the game as well. It's just way too strong for that game, but definitely needed at 3 just to keep this deck fun and, you know, reassured for the actual TCG format. And lastly, I run 2 Amazoness Willpower. This special summon card just gives me more cards from the graveyard to summon out. Most of the time, I have to attack with the card I summon, so Amazoness Swordswoman just, you know, attack. Either I'll attack over something, or they'll take any of the damage that I would with this card. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 Amazoness Empress. This one needs Amazoness Queen and 1 Amazoness Monster to make this card. Other Amazoness cards you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects, so it has a better version of Queen's effect when you get this card out. And if your Amazoness Monster attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. And if this face-up fusion card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while in its owner's control, you can special summon 1 Amazoness Queen from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So just more protection than the actual Amazoness Queen. Also better attack stats to use for the power boost, especially when we have the field spell on the field as well. And I run 2 Amazoness Pet Liger. Basically the same for your setup. You can make this card gain 500 attack during damage calc only. If an Amazoness monster attacks your opponent's monster during damage calc, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 800 attack. And monster your opponent control cannot attack monsters you control except this one. So more of a protection card as well, with Pet Liger needing Amazoness Tiger and 1 Amazoness monster, which Baby Tiger counts as it well on the field. So that'll be your fusion cost right there. And for more of the generic cards, I run 2 Mrs. Radiant for the Earth monsters we all run in this deck. Just more easy link plays, and then you can get out Amazoness Pet Liger and also Amazoness Empress potentially out on the field at the same time. I also run 1 Isolde. This is for search more than anything, since you can search out an Amazoness monster and then special summon it next turn using the trap card. I don't really run enough equip spells or really want to go in that route for the deck to have this be more useful for the special summon effect. But you would have potential if you want to add more in with Heirloom. You can potentially take out the Call by the Graves if you want to add in more search cards for those spots for the equip spells to use with Isolde, but that's only if you want to go that route as well. And I also run 1 Barricade Board Blocker, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Sir Yugioh. You can definitely get out a lot of monsters, so being able to recycle some of those hand cards with this card, very, very useful as well. And for the Synchros, the 1 Naturia Beast, when you can make it, it can shut down a lot of decks since they rely a lot on spells for those decks also. And for the Exceed plays, I just have the 1 Utopia and the 1 Utopia the Lightning. It comes in handy when I need a bigger power play to get over some tough monsters if I don't have the burn effect to rely on as well, or just the damage effect for your Swords Woman. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Definitely a fun deck to look into. I know a lot of people are fans of the Amazoness, so glad I was finally able to do another update to the deck as well. But until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.